Fallout New Vegas is one of the best RPGs of all time, but it hasn't aged well. We also don't even know if a Fallout New Vegas remaster is even possible. We recently heard rumors that Bethesda might not even have the source code anymore, which means it wouldn't be like the Oblivion remaster, it would have to be a full rebuild from scratch. And if that's the case, we could be waiting a very, very long time. Keep in mind that these are rumors and not 100% confirmed. So God willing, I'll remaster it myself, with the help of some mods. I love Fallout New Vegas. It's my favorite game of all time, but it's super outdated, buggy, and just barely works half the time. So let's fix it. What you're looking at is Fallout New Vegas in 2026. No official remaster, just 855 mods. I went down a rabbit hole trying to find the best way to modernize New Vegas in 2026. The visuals, the gameplay, the performance, and yeah, some of those classic New Vegas bugs, while still keeping it as close to vanilla as possible, because I'm not trying to turn New Vegas into a completely different game. I just don't want it to look like some ultra modded tech demo that barely resembles the original anymore. I just want it to look and feel like a version of New Vegas that we all remember in our heads. I was lucky enough to play Fallout New Vegas right as it was releasing back when I was about 13 years old, and it was just peak. Honestly, this is where a lot of mod lists get the whole thing wrong. A lot of people focus on entirely making the game look as visually stunning as possible. Better lighting, sharper textures, EMB reshades, new weathers, all that stuff. And don't get me wrong, that can look incredible, but the core issue with New Vegas was never just the graphics. The real problem is the actual moment-to-moment gameplay, especially the gunplay in this game just feels absolutely terrible. It's super dated, the movement feels stiff, the shooting feels floaty, some weapons don't have the punch that they should, and even if the game looks beautiful, it can still feel like you're playing a game from 2010, because, well, you are. So the goal here isn't just to make New Vegas prettier, it's to make it feel better to actually play. After going through every option I could find, I landed on Very Last Kiss, New Vegas, 855 mods, over 32 gigabytes, the most popular mod pack on the Fallout Nexus. It covers the base game, all the DLCs, and includes the dry wells and long 15 mod expansions, which are basically full-blown DLCs in their own right. VLK, as I like to call it, keeps the vanilla style of the original game, but adds in a lot of what an actual New Vegas remaster would bring to the game. Newer textures, improved gunplay, a better looting system, a cleaner UI, improved player progression with tons of new perks and traits. And to quote Todd Howard, it just works. I know what you're thinking. 855 mods, there's absolutely no way this thing runs without completely falling apart. And that's what I thought too, but I grabbed Nexus Premium for a month. There's also a 3-day trial if you want to test the waters. I got everything installed, booted up, and sure enough, Doc Mitchell's beautiful bald head was right there waiting for me. First things first, installation. With 855 mods, if you do try to do this without Nexus Premium, you're going to be sitting there for 2 days clicking and installing each mod one by one. I grabbed the 1-month sub, knocked it all out in like 15 minutes, and it was as painless as something like this can be, because this is a massive mod pack. Now, I want to be 100% transparent with you. The one-click install promise is mostly true, and I will say this is way easier than grabbing your own mods and then having to troubleshoot all the conflicts for days. Because this whole pack has been tested time and time again, and more than likely, if you're having a problem on the Nexus, somebody else has had that same problem, so it's a lot easier to get into and fix it. I did run into my first bug right out of the gate. The pack includes an OHUD mod from Gopher, which hides your UI until you actually need it. Great idea in theory, except my grenade icon would just not go away. It was just sitting there, staring at me, mocking me. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I looked it up, tried a couple of fixes, then decided to uninstall and reinstall the mod, which promptly broke about 27 other things. 2 hours later, after completely unnecessary suffering, I figured out that there's literally no option in the mod to toggle the grenade icon on or off. You can change the position of it, which is what I end up having to do. The option for it just does not exist. So I had to move it off screen using a HUD mover mod, which kind of defeats the whole point, but here we are. If someone has found a fix for this, please let me know down in the comments below. I scrolled through the Nexus. I could not see if anybody had the same problem. So the lesson, expect to do a little bit of troubleshooting. It's not completely plug and play, but after that, smooth sailing. For 855 mods, this thing runs like an absolute dream. I was genuinely shocked. I am so used to New Vegas crashing every 15 minutes, and I hadn't had a single crash yet. That fact alone is incredible. Now, I can't go over all 855 mods individually, but I can tell you what my playthrough was like and what I noticed the most. So let's talk about what this thing actually looks like, because this is where Very Last Kiss earns its reputation. The second that you load into the game, you're greeted by artwork from Demos Art, who does some incredible Fallout New Vegas work. There's a mod that replaces all the loading screens with their artwork, and it looks way better than the OG loading screens. I did notice throughout the playthrough that sometimes a loading screen would be too zoomed in and cut off the full image. A minor bug, but does not take away from what is otherwise an awesome mod. After giving Doc Mitchell's bald head a nice little smooch, we get to see all the new perks and traits that we can choose. Then we proceed to rob him blind and dip out, and then we get to see Fallout New Vegas Remastered in all of its glory. Now, I want to be upfront about what I was looking for here, because I've seen other mod setups that completely reshade Fallout New Vegas into this oversaturated, blurry mess. It looks like someone cranked every slider to the max and called it a day. It looks like that fake DLSS 5 crap. And that's not what I wanted. I wanted original New Vegas, just with newer textures, better lighting, and that ugly orange tint finally gone. And that's exactly what this delivers. The lighting is a massive upgrade. Nighttime is actually dark now. New Vegas actually pops at night. It looks and feels way more like a real city at night instead of a washed out glow. Every original location has been overhauled and looks just 10 times better. The UI got a serious upgrade too. Higher resolution across the board. You notice it immediately the second you open your Pip-Boy. Even those little notifications you get in the top left corner are just way sharper and way cleaner. It's one of those things where once you see it, you genuinely can't unsee how rough the original looked. All the character models look close to vanilla, but with noticeably higher resolution textures. You can see every wrinkle in Easy Pete's wrinkly old forehead in 4K. All clothing and armor looks way better than vanilla. There's also more NPC diversity. Everyone looks a little bit different now. Not all the gamblers in New Vegas are wearing identical outfits and saying the same thing 10 times over. I got to see Victor's new shiny dome with some actual color to it. Makes the Securitrons look way better than the original with higher resolution textures. After finishing the tutorial, we have the option of Sunny Smiles as a companion, which honestly I feel like should have been in the base game. Maybe it was too early to get a companion, but I mean you get one right over in Prim anyways. I was just happy to see VLK didn't include a bunch of weirdo mods like whoever made this one. There's also a backpack mod, which have a bunch of different trade-offs like -1 agility but plus 50 carry weight. There are tons of different ones scattered throughout the game, which adds a nice little layer to how you build your character and helps out with carrying all that junk around. Every now and then, you're going to catch some texture clipping or something popping in and out in the distance. With this many mods, it's kind of impossible to not have so many different assets that are touching, not mess with each other. It's a minor complaint on something that looks otherwise super clean. I only noticed just a few times. Now, the animations are where this pack genuinely surprised me. Right out of Goodsprings, you notice it immediately. The way your character raises his arm to shield himself from the sunlight feels closer to Fallout 4's intro. Just a small detail, but it makes a huge difference. When you pull up your Pip-Boy, your arm actually raises to bring it out. When you pick up something, your character reaches out and grabs it. When you visit a new location, your character raises their arm up and marks it on the Pip-Boy with its own unique icon. A super nice touch. When you pick up a new weapon, your character inspects it. You can check the clip, look it over, similar to how Escape from Tarkov handles it. If it's a revolver, your character does some slick gun handling animations before holstering it. Deeply satisfying every time. There are also skinning animations now, so whenever you collect meat from animals, there's an actual animation. They're quick animations, so it doesn't linger too long on the screen. And honestly, if you do anything in New Vegas now, there's probably a new animation for it at this point. Eating a couple noodles, drinking a Nuka-Cola, cracking open a Sunset Sarsaparilla, finding the platinum chip for the first time after Veronica punches Benny through a wall. It all just works and fits in the game flawlessly. Running looks dramatically better than vanilla. Sprint is included. The sprint drains AP just like in Fallout 4, but at least you're no longer casually jogging across the entire Mojave like you've got nowhere to be. I don't know a single person who mods this game and does not add a sprint mod. It is a necessity for everyone at this point. And of course, we got the Fallout 4 looting system. Hover over a container, take what you want, and move on. No manually having to open and close every single box and container in the game. This is a must-have mod for me, and I'm just glad it made the cut into this mod pack, which makes it feel even more modern. Okay, the guns. Let's talk about the gunplay in here. Vanilla New Vegas gunplay is stiff as a board. There's really no other way to put it. It's just a limitation of the engine they used at its time. I mean, this game is just Fallout 3 on steroids with an amazing story. But when I say the mod pack makes guns feel incredible, I mean it. It goes from Fallout 3 on steroids to Fallout 3 on ketamine. The recoil is actually good now. There's weight to it, there's feedback. It genuinely reminded me of how Call of Duty handles gunplay sometimes, which in an engine this old is honestly impressive. And I felt this for the first time rolling into Prim. I thought I was being slick, sneaking in carefully, taking my time, and then 30 pieces of dynamite got thrown at my dome. And I had to figure things out pretty quick. There's also a new grenade indicator similar to Call of Duty, so whenever an enemy throws an explosive at you, it shows the icon in the direction that it's coming from, so you can try to avoid it. If you're quick enough, that is. Unfortunately, I was not. There are also new explosion sounds that are louder and more crisp, which makes the whole thing feel way more intense. Once I figured out how to actually approach the situation is where this new gunplay really shines. I was quick-scoping enemies left and right with my varmint rifle, which became my favorite early game weapon almost immediately. The recoil felt perfect on it. It's just one of those guns that really clicks for a certain playstyle, and I was having a blast with it. Around this time, I also found my first unique weapon from the mod pack, a revolver that your character does not stop spinning. So with this mod pack, we get some more unique weapons added, which is always a nice touch. That's got an upgrade as well. There's now 2 options for it. So the traditional full freeze from Fallout 3 and New Vegas, traditional full freeze classic New Vegas style, or a Fallout 4 style slowdown mode that gives you a cinematic slow motion without completely stopping time. But depending on the situation, I found myself stopping between both. Having both is a great choice. Before leaving Prem, I decided to piece Eddie back together. One of the optional mods for VOK is an Eddie overhaul that gives him the voice lines pulled from various movies. I definitely chuckled quite a few times at some of these. I heard the "This is Sparta" line, the "Good, Bad, and Ugly" theme song, "Say Hello to My Little Friend" from Scarface, and the one that kind of creeped me out was "I See Dead People" from The Sixth Sense. Thanks for that, Eddie.
Found your weapon. You have 60 seconds to comply.
Enemy deaths are more varied as well. Sometimes they clinch where they got shot. Sometimes you get a ragdoll that's pretty funny. When I got killed, I ragdolled pretty hard quite a few times. One thing I also did notice in this whole mod pack is that most areas have more enemy spawns than vanilla does. So it kind of keeps you on your toes because there's a lot more people around here. Oh, and I also learned the hard way that this mod, I don't know what mod it is, but it increases the speeds of ants and rad scorpions, which apparently the Mojave was not terrifying enough. I could not outrun these things. I was in my full-on sprint, and I had to try and pick them off from a distance because they were right on my heels the entire time. I desperately tried to jump on the car only to fail. It felt like I was getting chased in a horror game. Do not mess with the baby scorpions, and I'm speaking from experience, because that mama will hunt you down. After surviving all that, I finally got to meet our little buddy Oliver Swank, and I left him alive. Totally. Moving on. Once I got the immersive HUD working the way it was supposed to, this whole experience really clicked into place. I play Fallout 4 the same way, HUD off, just taking in the world, and that's exactly the mindset I wanted going into this. I wanted to actually see what these mods are doing to the environment and the game, not just stare at a bunch of icons slapped over the top of it. Once it's working, it's incredible. You're exploring the Mojave, textures, lighting, the world doing its thing, with a completely clean screen, no UI, bloat, clutter. Then the second a firefight kicks off, everything snaps back in, you can see exactly what you need. It makes the whole experience feel genuinely modern in a way that nothing else in this pack does quite as well. You can see your health, your stamina, your ammo, everything. It works flawlessly. It just works. Was it worth 2 hours of breaking 27 mods just to get there? Yeah, barely, but yeah. So after all that, I made my way over to Nipton, and if you know New Vegas, Nipton is where things start to get pretty real. I found Boxcar, gave him some chems to take his edge off, and he hit me with a quest to go rescue his buddies from a Legion camp nearby. I said no problem. There was a problem. The Legion did not get the memo that I was indeed the main character. They swarmed me full speed. There was obviously way more spawns of Legions. Bro, they murked me. No hesitation, they were absolutely ruthless. They charged at me like I owed them money and murdered me several times before I made the very mature and tactical decision to come back later. I don't think I ever returned. With the increased enemy aggression that this pack brings, the Legion actually feels dangerous in a way they honestly never really did in the vanilla. It's like the AI rushes at you as hard as they can. After regrouping, and by regrouping I mean running away, I finally made it in Novak. The Dino D-Light motel room has been completely overhauled and looks great. There's an actual spots now to organize your gear, display your collectibles, snow globe case. If you're someone who actually collects those things throughout the playthrough, you've got a proper place to show them off now. It makes the room feel like you've got your own space now, in the way the vanilla room never really did. I, of course, had to go see what was up at the huge dinosaur. I got myself a little toy and got to see the nice, cool little animation for it. Then we helped Boone do what Boone does, avenge his wife and blow a woman's head off. Because why not, right? And then we watched the ghouls fly away directly into the side of a mountain, like a Spirit Airlines flight. You know, RIP Spirit Airlines, by the way. Which naturally irradiated the entire area, and this is where I got to see one of the new cooler UI additions in the pack, a radiation meter in the top left corner that tracks your rads down to the decimal point. So on top of that, there's also a new grainy green glow effect that creeps across the screen and shows the more radiation that you're soaking in. It's a great visual touch. It really drives home just how much cancer you're casually sipping on out there in the Mojave. After sneaking into Manny Vargas' room to snoop at his goon machine, we found out where Benny went, and then off we went after him. But not before stealing another unique weapon on the way out. The Bitter Memory was hanging on the wall, a medium-range sniper rifle chambered in .308, clean, purposeful, fits the world perfectly. And then there was this other one that I found, the Hello Kitty rifle. Just look at it. I just can't use this weapon in good Fallout faith, but it's in the pack if you're a big Hello Kitty fan, all two of you. After admiring our new weapons, we set out towards Boulder City and stopped at the 188 trading post along the way, where we picked up Veronica, who also got a retexture on her armor to make it look a little better. More importantly, though, I saw this woman body several enemies. She absolutely does not play. After arriving at Boulder City and dealing with the cons using that sweet new VATS mode and our police shotgun, we head off towards the strip, and from a distance you can already see the new neon lights of the Lucky 38 making it pop out even more than it did before. A good sign of what's coming. I got to Freeside and couldn't help but notice that something was a little bit different. This place had been completely overhauled with new locations everywhere. You can even go clubbing now in Freeside, so that the courier can have a little night out with the boys. We then finally got into Vegas and we got to see all the new shiny lights. Then we went to go pay a visit to our old buddy Benny. I did happen to notice that you level up pretty quick in this mod pack. I had 100 speech by the time I got there, so I convinced him to go upstairs with me and proceeded to watch Veronica one-tap this man in the head. We then got a fancy new platinum chip animation before heading over to see Mr. House and attempting to withhold it from him before, deciding to hand it over. After getting my next task from Mr. House, I decided I don't like being told what to do, so I went on a little stroll over to Fiend territory and had a few matches of team deathmatch with him. And oh boy, this gunplay felt good. I then got sidetracked once again and wanted to see what Zion would look like, so I checked out Honest Hearts for just a few minutes, and oh my, on my OLED monitor, the colors and everything on Honest Hearts look so good. I'm definitely going to have to go back and replay it. Just amazing. But for the sake of the video, I reloaded an older save and continued on my way. All the DLCs have been overhauled as well, and I might make a video covering them if this one does well enough, so let me know down in the comments below if that's something you guys want to see. After getting back on the main quest, I spoke to Ambassador Crocker. He told me to go chill with the boomers, and no, I'm not talking about your parents. I'm talking about the ones that very kindly fire artillery on you as you get close. The boomers' outfits look way better thanks to the Better Boomers mod, improved models and textures across the board. I helped them kill some ants, listen to an annoying kid, and helped some boomers fall in love. Once again, not your parents. Until they sent me out to raise the B-29 bomber from Lake Mead. Along the way to Lake Mead, I ran into multiple groups of Cazadors, and there's also some new variations called crippled Cazadors. Now, these things were anything but crippled. They just couldn't fly, so instead they just sprinted at me at like Mach 5. They also had a wasp nest structure where they spawned from. I don't remember this being in the base game. Definitely a great addition, very lore friendly. Now something I want to flag that I noticed around this stretch, every time I took a break and reloaded back into the game, there was a stutter that lasts a second or two and then completely goes away. It only happens on that first load in. Not when you're traveling between areas. I just think it's just how many mods are loaded into this thing. It freaks out for a second and then it goes stable. But it never once resulted in a crash, and it only happens upon your first load into the game from desktop. And I want to say that again, I have not had a single crash in a modded New Vegas playthrough with 855 plus mods. That is genuinely remarkable. Every time before this when I modded the game myself without a pack like this, it would crash and stutter constantly. I helped the NCR take out the Great Cons with some smooth quick scoping thanks to improved gunplay, then helped them tidy up things with the Kings and Freeside. Next up was Mr. House. I went to go take him out and was treated to a complete redesign of the room where his body is kept, along with a unique shotgun waiting inside. After beating up that old man and heading back outside, I heard a message play out across the strip. It was Mr. House announcing his own death from beyond the grave. I believe this was cut content that got added back in. It's a super nice touch, and it would only make sense for a man who spent his life planning around the end of the world to have a few failsafes ready to go in event of his untimely demise. After dealing with the Emeritus, I was set on my next task, the Brotherhood of Steel. But first, I had one more bug to deal with. All my companions just took off on their own. After going into the Lucky 38, I don't know what happened. Only Boone and Eddie would follow me, so I had to go to gun runners, use the companion dismissal terminal, reset everybody, and then reassemble the crew. Then we headed back to the bunker to go wipe out that Brotherhood scum. Now this is where I got to see the new power armor overhaul, and let me tell you, I will never play Fallout New Vegas again without this mod installed. It makes the power armor look and feel more like Fallout 4, just way better. And thanks to the new perk system, I was able to grab the power armor training without having to grind through the Enclave or Brotherhood questline. The HUD switches to appear inside your helmet just like in Fallout 4 instead of on your Pip-Boy. I thought it would feel clunky, but it actually worked flawlessly. I didn't have a single problem with it. There's all new custom sounds for walking, running, and jumping. You sound like an actual tank, and I will admit walking sound gets a little bit annoying after a while, but I was able to turn it down some to a more reasonable level. You just feel way more powerful. You look stockier with broader shoulders compared to the ugly vanilla models. I cannot recommend this mod enough. As we approach the end of the video, I just want to remind you, I still at this point have not crashed at all. I have never experienced this in Fallout New Vegas ever. A fully modded playthrough, no crashes. This is the most stable New Vegas has ever been for me, and it's just not even close. After dying multiple times, maybe just a couple, I blew up those steel bastards and made sure to hit some dope shots and grab every weapon that I could on the way out. Side note, I don't know what mod it is, but the turrets in the Brotherhood of Steel bunker had an insane amount of health. So much so that instead of taking them out, I just popped a stealth boy and snuck past them to save myself the ammo. After that, all I had left to do was save President Kimball, easy peasy, and then it was time for the second Battle of Hoover Dam. During the battle, I did get some frame drops and stutters. This is the first time I experienced this in my entire playthrough. I think it's just from the sheer amount of NPCs that start spawning in one place, which this engine was not built to handle. But again, it still never crashed. This engine is not built for 855 mods, but it ran this entire playthrough without a single crash. It blows my mind. I also have no idea where I picked up these unique brass knuckles, but after trying them out, I was hooked. I just kept going around punching absolutely everybody in full power armor. It was beautiful, just like this entire playthrough, to be honest with you. I won the battle with the NCR, I RKO'd the leg Atlantis off the dam, and rolled credits, and I genuinely had an amazing time with Very Last Kiss mod pack. I'm definitely going to be doing another full playthrough where I can slow down and explore all the new areas, and if this video does well enough, I'll cover some of the DLCs and maybe post some more content about it. One quick side note, I recently got into handheld gaming and picked myself up an ROG Ally X. I was curious, so I tried installing the full VLK mod pack on it, and it ran, but my frames were hovering in the open world areas around 30 FPS, which for me personally, I cannot play at 30 FPS. So I uninstalled it. They make a light version of this mod, so if the main version is a little bit too heavy for you, you can install this light version. On there, on 1080p, I was able to hit around 55 to 60 FPS, but I ended up going down to about 900p, so I could hit 60 all the time, and it runs like an absolute dream. So even if you're on a handheld, this light version of the pack is absolutely worth it. But overall, this is the remaster that Fallout New Vegas needs in 2026. It keeps enough of the original vanilla feeling to make it worth playing, while modernizing everything that needed modernizing. The gunplay, the animations, the visuals, the stability, it all comes together into something that genuinely feels like a brand new version of Fallout New Vegas. Do not wait for a Bethesda remaster. Lately, they are just messing everything up that they touch. Starfield, the Fallout 4 updates, Fallout 76 launch. I am praying to God that Elder Scrolls 6 is a return to form for them. I really am. But for New Vegas, the modding community has already beat them to it. Seriously, try out this mod pack. Thank you guys for making these mods. You guys are awesome modders. Please keep up the hard work. And if you want to see more on why an official Fallout New Vegas remaster might not even be possible, I've got a video covering all that. Check it out after this one. Link in the description down below, along with the mod pack for the original LVK and the light version as well. Other than that, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like. It helps the channel more than you think. Subscribe if you want to see more Fallout content, and I'll catch you in the next one.